What's going on, everybody? John Eric Poli here with my MMA news, and today's guest will be fighting at UFC Vegas 69 on February 18th. Pleased today to be joined by Evan Elder. Evan, nice to see you, man. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate the time.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man, no problem at all. So we'll get right into everything here. This is just your second fight in your UFC career. Obviously, things just getting started here. So your debut didn't go as planned. You got a loss, but I'm sure a great learning moment for you, young in your career. Being in a new promotion, so much goes into a debut anywhere, especially into UFC one. What did you take away from that debut and that experience that's going to be so beneficial now in the long run here in your career?
Man, it was I learned more from that one loss than that I have in every victory I've had in my whole entire career, amateur and pro. So it was an amazing learning experience, So I took away a lot. A lot of it was just I got a loss on my record, got over the fear of losing my O and staying undefeated and just realizing it's not the end of the world, man. It's not the end of the world whenever we take losses, and we hear it all the time that loss is just a part of success, and it's just a good reminder of that. Of like, dude, this is just another bump in the road. Got some cuts, got some bruises, got a little beat up, but healed, recovered, and got right back to work. So it's not the end of the world, and we're just gonna get right back to work whether we win or lose. So don't fear it. Got just over the fear of losing.
And not only like that's just talking, a lot of like X's and O's just in the fight game there, but also I don't think a lot of people realize when you make a debut, especially in a promotion like the UFC, there's a day of media rounds, there's a photo day, picking up your fight kit, you got to cut weight in a different location, probably in a hotel room. You have weigh-ins in the morning. Then there's usually a ceremonial weigh-in, which fight nights might be a little bit different than like with pay-per-views. But so there's usually two different like ceremonies to go to there with that. A lot of moving parts. So you being the first time in the UFC, going through that for the first time, does it help now as you go into the second fight that you kind of like, oh, okay, here's what fight week is going to be like. Kind of takes away some of those like little, those nerves or those kind of like, man, what's this going to be like type moments?
Yeah, 100%, man. It was, dude, it was so much stuff. Dude, to be completely honest, I was just so encapsulated by the whole moment of just like exact everything. You nailed it. You said everything, the fight was on short notice. And so I crammed all that stuff you just mentioned into like a shorter amount of time, just within a couple days and stuff. And so it was just immense amounts of paperwork and you're cutting weight obviously, and my fight was up a weight class, so the weight cut wasn't too bad anyway, so I was fortunate for that. And but media, poster signings, trying on all the gear, equipment check, things like that. And it was just a lot, and I'm not used to all that. With the smaller promotions, there's not as much of that going on. Usually it's like wait, just everything's settled the day of weigh-ins. Like that's it. But this was like days of stuff leading up into it. So, yeah, man. And I was so focused on all that stuff. It was just I was like, oh my gosh, I'm finally in the UFC. Like I want to make sure I'm not doing anything wrong. I don't want to piss anybody off by doing the missing anything or so yeah, you just like with everything, man, it's just another rep. You get more experience. I have a better understanding of what to expect going in and how to approach it, and we'll definitely do it much better this time. I'm not going to let the moment get the best of me, and or at least try to do better. So yeah, it's so much easier too. It's so nice to having that understanding, because then the visualization and the practice walkthroughs mentally, the mental walkthroughs leading up into it, you have such a better, you can more closely put yourself in the exact scenario in the situation, and just that way when you get there it doesn't feel so foreign. You have a rep or reps, of doing exactly that. So you don't get there and your mind or body's like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? We've never done this stuff. Yeah, man, it's gonna be much much better. I really feel like, and I'm honestly just super excited. I can't wait to get to just have the opportunity to do it again, do it right, and make up for the mistakes I made the first time.
Yeah, and you actually took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to ask you about just how excited you were to be able to, put everything behind you and just go out and compete here again, and looked at your hand raised for the first time there. Let's now, though, talk training camp here. So you mentioned the first time, right? Short notice. This time now, longer training camp. You get to actually study and prepare. How much of a difference does that make in a fight when you actually get the time to put the proper steps into it instead of just rushing right through? Because even when you're in the gym every day, working and training and getting better, there still comes a time where it's like, crap, I did not get to study this opponent at all. I'm just going in there blindly and just hoping that my skills are better than his on this given night.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it makes a huge difference because exactly like you said, it's just it's always a battle of skills for sure. But especially at a higher level, I've been looking forward to this for a long time of getting to game plan and like study tape and really break things down and analyze and go in with a game plan and strategy. That way it isn't just a battle of physicality, it's or even just physical skills. It's about who's going to implement a better strategy, who's going to be able to figure out what tactics are going to work and then implement those into that the live scenario, into the chaos that is a fight. So it makes a huge difference, especially having the time to properly prepare, physically, mentally, everything. So get the reps in the gym of what the strategy and the tactics you want to apply, and the stuff you really think are going to be weaknesses, holes that you're going to be able to exploit on your opponent. And it makes a tremendous difference. So I'm super excited because this time there's ample amount of time to get ready.
And this is going to be probably a dumb question because you train down at Kill Cliff, and that's an amazing gym down there. But how's camp? I imagine that camp has to be absolutely fantastic at a gym like that.
Yeah, man. I mean, it really doesn't get any better. In my opinion, I just couldn't imagine a better place to get ready for a fight in the world. Because it's just every single day is a grind. Every single time you step on the mats, man, it's from top to bottom. Every single person on the mats, even if they're not at the highest level already, they're hungry. They're there for a reason and they're trying to get there. And so there's no easy rounds, there's no easy days, there's no weak training partners. Everybody's good, so you're just constantly getting good fight looks because it's realistic. You're not going to be training with anybody that's just a hobbyist or just trying to take class or anything. It's just a professional fight team, and so we get in, get to work, and it just makes for amazing training.
And now I want you to explain to everybody a little bit about the move down there too, because we were talking a little bit about this before we came on air here, and it's a pretty unique story. So obviously, right? I'm sure most people could relate to this. When you turn 21, you want to go to the bar, you want to drink. A lot of people experience a big weight gain in that time because of how just fresh the bar scene is. You at 21, you picked up from Missouri and you made that move down to South Florida to train at Kill Cliff. At the time, it was Sanford MMA, and you wanted to focus on your career. Just talk about that move in that moment in time and what led you to that decision, because that's a massive move at 21 years old to make a move across multiple states down to location to take a shot at a career the way that you did.
Yeah, man. I've been very blessed with many things. God's always taken very good care of me, man. I live a life much better than I deserve, but uh, I've never been really a partier. Never really got into drinking. Definitely not drugs or anything like that. So I had no problem moving down here and staying away from the party scene. It's don't get me wrong. It's beautiful down here. There's all kinds of places to go out and I'm sure honestly, it's not even that appealing to me. I usually, like today, man, I'll be honest with you, I'm exhausted right now. I just got done doing super hard sparring rounds, and I'm just like, I'm about to take a nap after this, eat some food, take a nap, and get ready to go back later. So really just no time for that stuff. We got goals to achieve and fights to win. So yeah, I've been, like I said, just very fortunate, very blessed to that's never really been very hard. That's never weighed heavy on my mind of like I feel like I'm giving up like my social life or like any type of like nightlife or anything to train. It's like this is my life. This is what I chose. This is what I get to do. I if I didn't want to do this, I don't have to. I could go get a job and just go hang out, go to the bars, stuff like that. But it's not what I want. So it's not really, it really isn't too hard for me. And I'm very fortunate for that because I know that, that is very appealing to a lot of people. And I'm sure that that's hard to avoid, stay away from. So very fortunate in that sense. But man, yeah, 21, moved down here. I've been here for about 4 years now and spent pretty much my whole professional career with this team now. And Very, very fortunate, very blessed to be here.
And I have to ask this question too when it comes to Kill Cliff. Obviously, you're at a very young stage in your career, just 25. You have 4 years down at this gym now. Who are some of the guys over the last few years of you working down there that have really maybe taken you under their wing, helped you a lot with your career, always there when you're training, offering you advice? Because there's so many high level talented guys. Obviously, we know the coaching staff there is fantastic, but the level of guys training there, they have some of the best fighters in the world are down in that gym. Who are some of the guys that you kind of look up to and train with and like to pick their brain with stuff?
Yeah, man. Like I was saying, dude, it's so nice. I could mention a ton of guys that you probably wouldn't even know because it's literally from top to bottom. Even guys that aren't in the UFC, Bellator, ONE FC, any big organization. They're fighting for smaller organizations still, and just like I have been, my whole time down here. A lot of those guys have been my training partners. People like Devin Dixon, Elvin Espinoza, Landon Quinones. All these guys, I think, and well, Elvin's already in PFL now, but Landon's about to hopefully get a call up, and so Devin will be there too. So, and just a million guys like that. Everybody there get great work with. But then some of the more formidable names, people you're going to know: Michael Chandler, Gilbert Burns, Michael Johnson, Nick Lentz, Logan Storley. Jason Jackson. I mean, dude, it's just like it's insane. The list goes on and on. Robbie Lawler, Ong Lasong. It's just like every single time I step on the mats, man, I gotta pinch myself. I'm like, am I really here? Like, is it like these? I remember whenever I first moved down here, man, I mean, I was so scared. I was so nervous because I was like 21, just 1-0 as a pro. To be completely honest with you, man, I didn't even belong because I was just like, man, I was not to the level of these guys. Still not, working on it, but uh, uh, dude, like these guys I've been looking up to my whole entire life ever since I was little. I was like, man, one day, I want to be like these guys. And I finally get here, and I'm just like, this can't be real. Like, is this real life? I'm saying it right. I'm training, not just seeing them. Like, I'm training with them. I'm sparring and training with legends. And it's pretty surreal. But yeah, man, I'm super fortunate to have the experience of getting to train with all these high level guys and seeing exactly having a front row seat to what it takes to be the best. Literally, many of these guys are ranked fighters in top 15 in the UFC, top 15, top 10, top 5, or even champions. And so I get front row seat and firsthand experience of like what it's like to be the best. So they've all imparted a ton of knowledge and wisdom, and every single one of them are an inspiration to me. So I'm very fortunate to be here for sure.
Yeah, man, a lot of great guys down there at the gym, and it's great that you're getting that experience. Let's now get into some fight specifics here. Want to ask you about your opponent, just kind of what you've seen out of him. I know he's coming off the Contender Series, made a little bit of a splash on there with a knockout win. Just kind of what have you seen out of him? He's obviously very young in his career too, but just studying film on him, what are you kind of seeing and expecting on fight night?
Yeah, man. I remember watching him fight on the Contender Series long before I was scheduled to fight him, and I was like, shit, this dude's good. Like he was my weight class, so I knew to keep an eye out for him and stuff. But yeah, he came out and freaking spinning back kicked a dude in the freaking solar plex, about took his soul from him in like literally like 15 seconds into the fight, and I was like, oh shit. And then just continued to just put a mauling on him the whole fight, and then I ended up KOing him in the third round. But yeah, he looked great. I was super impressed with him. And like I said, long before I knew I was fighting him. So, dude, he's super tough. He's got a lot of things that he's great at. I do feel like he's got several holes that going back to what we were talking about earlier. I've been able to strategize and put together a strategy to try to exploit those holes. But he's a strong southpaw striker. He's going to come straight out and bring the fight to me, man. He's going to try to. I think he's going to look to strike. I'm gonna be looking to mix it up, and um, I think that's about it. Truthfully, I'm gonna be. I think it's gonna come down to who's gonna implement their game plan better. I think we're both skilled everywhere. Striking, clinch, cage work, top and bottom on the ground. We're good everywhere. So it's gonna be a battle of attrition, a war of attrition, and see who's got the better cardio and the better game plan.
All right, man. I got one last thing for you here. Good thing about fighting in February is you get to fight very early on in the year. What are the plans now here for 2023? Do you want to be very active this year? What's kind of the perfect scenario in your head when you look at this year as a whole?
Man, I'll be completely honest with you, dude. I haven't even looked one day past February 18th, man. I'm pouring everything I got into this, my everything I got, my heart and my soul, and just I really I'm just taking it one day at a time and making sure to squeeze the most out of every single day to prepare as much as I can. And truthfully, I haven't really thought too much past it. I'm not looking past this guy. I definitely don't have intentions of losing. So I'm going to go in here and try to handle business and hopefully leave with my hand raised. And I would love to, things go well and God willing, I would love to get back in there right away and really make it a good year, make it a good what I would consider really my rookie year because I had my first fight in the UFC, but from that time to the time I fight again, it'll have been about almost 10 months, so the long layoff. Very fortunate for that layoff. Also, has been the biggest growth period in my life. Not just on the mats and in the cage, but also off the mats, just life in general. And so I'm very, very glad for that layoff. 10 months of just really getting better, and um, but I would like to be active after that. So hopefully, we'll see. We'll have to make it past this fight first. Hopefully, no injuries. Hopefully, I mean, shoot, it'd be nice to walk in there and just take care of business, get out pretty unscathed, and hop right back in. But we'll see. I'm not looking past this fight, so I can't answer that fully.
All right, man. I appreciate all the time here today. Last thing before you head out, social media, so people know where to follow you at. You have any management or sponsorships or anything like that that you have to plug? Take it away.
Yeah, man. You can find me on Instagram's pretty much. I don't really use Twitter too much, but Instagram, Evan underscore Elder underscore, and you'll see I got all my stuff on there. So as far as people to thank, man, we'd have to go on for at least another hour. I got way too many people to thank. I've been, like I said, I just blessed with more than I deserve, and the people in my life, man, friends, family, supporters, loved ones, sponsors, teammates, training partners, coaches. I mean, I just every single person. I don't care if you've done me wrong or we're best friends. It doesn't matter, man. I'm just appreciative for everybody because everybody's played a crucial role in my life and making me who I am and getting me to where I am. So I love you all and hope to make you proud February 18th and come back with a victory.
All right, Evan, thanks again so much for all the time, man. Really appreciate it. Again, for all the fans out there watching today's interview, Evan fights on February 18th. Fight card is UFC Vegas 69. So make sure you guys are tuning into the fight. Make sure you guys are checking out MyMMANews.com. Go to our social media pages. Give us a like and a follow on there as well. And one last thing before you guys head out, if you enjoyed today's interview, make sure to go to the bottom, give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. We'll see you later, everybody.